And then my 2-star strength 4 blitzers, who are usually lovely, did absolutely nothing all game. Except fall over. They fell over a lot.
Oh, thank you, Seabird.
And he had no tackle, but it always worked. Because, it's one of those days.
Yeah, but there's no dice.
There is no dice.
Oh, I need Gedenix. That is dice emote.
Well, luckily it was unbanned from Dio's channel recently, so you get to use that in Dio's channel if you so wish.
Yeah. So it looked like we got Darko starting on defense, which is Tripleskull. Tripleskull has 3. He's gone for the 3-2 build and gone for a little bit of a little bit different. He's gone for a tackle blitzer, wrestle witch, block witch, 1 dodge, and 1 leader. So light on the dodge department. Spartako has gone for the strip ball frenzy. Frenzy war dancers, a grab 3, wrestle lineman, and a leader thrower.
Let's get you talking about those leaders. Everybody loves a leader.
I don't like the leaders. I don't like the grab 3 either. I think it's too little value. If you only have 6 skills, I don't think you can get enough value out of grab. I really don't.
Would you agree that Wood Elves, as long as you've skilled the 2 War Dancers, it largely doesn't matter what else, everything sort of works?
Yes, I also agree with that. My personally preference is some dodge and more dodge wrestle alignment to make them more useful, because otherwise they're quite a bit too easy targets.
But then you like to roll without a tree and add more mobility, don't you? You're a fluid elves as water approach.
I'm preferring and no thrower and an extra catcher instead as well. So all 4 catchers.
Yeah, mobility, dodging, speed.
I've been experimenting with switching the Apo. I go to reroll Apo, and switching the Apo to a tree instead of keep the 4 catchers, no thrower. That seems to work alright as well. It gives you a little bit more ground against more bashy teams, I guess.
It shouldn't.
This is a really...
Drop something disposable on the tree and then ignore it. As soon as it roots, just get away.
Yeah. Frenzy. Frenzy. Icon. I got there's a little pictogram that helps if people doesn't know the lettering. Oh. I don't like this Wood Elf offense either. But that's if on a perfect defense you're just standing there.
So strip ball frenzy, strip ball tackle frenzy. You obviously sit very firmly on where with your dancers.
I take tackle if it's a tournament where I take tackle if I won a win, because I don't think you can use frenzy proper against good players with Wood Elves. So I take tackle if it's a top tier tournament I want to do well in. I take frenzy if I want to have fun. So if I go
certainly there was a real wasn't there a move in the meta towards frenzy, particularly from Europe a few years back?
And I can see it. I'm used to playing Witch Elf with Wrestle Frenzy and stuff like that. So I can see I don't think you particularly need Frenzy for. The more problem is Wood Elf is losing players and then having a Frenzy piece. Often just make it awkward for you. So you could almost argue that 2 strip balls. I've seen people run with 2 strip balls as well. It's potentially pretty viable as well. The only problem is when you run into teams, into like blotching sure hands teams. So yeah.
So this Dark Elf team is very, very different, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
2 skilled witches, only a single blodge.
yeah. And then taking tackle, which again I think it's a lot of value to put into one skill, where you're not even sure you meet anything with dodge for 6 games. When you only have 5 to pick from, I think it's a hell of a lot of value, money, like not equity, but stuff.
Yeah, I think there's certainly a very good argument that on teams where it's really struggling to get all of those skills active, that as you said, a gamble skill that may not even be useful in games. I can see why if you can move that to wrestle on alignment, it gives you another option both defensively and offensively.
Yeah.
And wrestle is reasonably good at taking down raw dodge, if it's not perhaps as good at blodge, but it does give you
Yeah.
options there that are more useful in other games.
Yeah, that's kind of why I would rather go with 2 wrestle witches than actually taking tackle on a blitz. I think, especially leaving
Yeah,
one naked. Like I can see so like pot freeze.
again, frenzy is another answer to dodge. It's not an answer I love to dodge, but it is an answer to dodge sometimes.
Yeah.
Oof, the cheeky stack GFI there.
You have Podfreeze going another approach. He's playing 1 with your 4 blitzers. And if you then do it, and then you can take 3 blitzers with dodge, and then you can put leap. He sometimes put leap, tackle, whatever on the 4th one, but then you still have
Right.
4 players with block dodge.
Yes. So he's taking a block witch, is he?
Yeah, I think it's normally taking a block witch, and then you can take tackle, leap, whatever you find funny on the 4th blitzer with 6 skills. But the problem again in Euroball is you're losing 1 skill. Like I will be tempted not to even use to run on Euroball skits.
Well, I'm not a big. I mean, the runner dump off is marginal at best if you're being hit and having to dump off.
Like
There's
I'm
a
not.
fair amount of risk to it in any directions.
Yeah.
And yes, the speed's nice, but you trade an AV point for it.
Yeah, I think it's good. Like the way I'm using him is with the dart skill, where he's often the people that are starting all the blocking. He's the one making the first assist to make the blitzers able to block. He also with the dart skill is you can mark like blockless players.
Yeah, but again, he's playing into your style of dodge as a key defense and mobility as the thing you seem to prize the most in a lot of your builds.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He's playing into how I want to.
That 3 die failed there.
Yep,
and we had a tree reroll.
Yeah, I also think it's pretty damn crazy doing that 3 dice without getting the ball away from that spot first.
I do feel like, from what I've seen of Spartako in the past, he does play a little erratically. Maybe there's a word you can say which is very polite. I mean, a good player, obviously, but
he has 3 catchers, 2 war dancers, and leader thrower that could make that ball safe before he even, or maybe not the catchers because tackle is for once useful. Yeah, but you should. I have no clue why you're taking that block. What is the block giving you?
I mean, I would probably take the block, but towards the end of the turn, if it was still
Yeah,
there. It's certainly not. It's what it gives you. Hopefully, is a broken elf, but it's.
Yeah, take it end of the turn, and you can take the both down and be happy.
Yeah, and now there's no reroll to cover any of this if needs be.
And you need to dodge 2 catches away from tackle.
All bleak at the moment. Yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of Spartako because he's on Fumble a fair amount with the weekend NAF particularly. And him and Justicium are people I will endlessly go distance to watch. I think they're both really interesting in their style and different approach. Spartako, I do tend to agree. There are a lot of games. Yes, where I thought this is hyper aggressive and almost showing a contempt for the ability of the opposite coach. That he feels, he can get away with stuff. He's good enough that it will sort itself out. And it pretty much always does.
Mm.
So annoyingly, he's got a point.
And that's fair enough. This, yeah. And
He has skills to back up his very, very aggressive style of play. And you often feel he'd rather go down 5-3 or win 5-3 than grind out a 2-0.
Letters is bloody not confusing.
There you are, it's all perfectly safe.
Yeah, and that's a point if he gets the pick up, and then he gets away with it probably again here with stunning the blitzer.
Yeah.
I think this is your cue, PC, to say bloody wood elves.
Well, no, I mean, I to be honest, yes, but obviously. But I love seeing them play this well. It's great. And now it just gets worse and worse and worse, doesn't it? With every two plus that comes, the situation goes from promising to disgusting.
Yeah, but that's... What the... That catcher is not doing anything in that position, that's better. So he's taking away the crazy dodge in, but I'm pretty
That
sure...
was what? 6 2+s once the reroll had gone.
Yeah.
And yet in a turn, if say, I don't know, let's just randomly pick a race, dwarves did 6 go for it after the reroll had gone, everyone would go, oh, look at all those go for it. That's the other thing, is the charm of wood elves. No one calls them on their bullshit enough.
I like myself a bit of wood elf bullshit.
Personally, I'm much more of a pro elf man.
Nope, I cannot mouse him. Come down to the underworld. Could you potentially on Discord, Chuck? Could you provide me with a name for them as well? I know it's technically a separate tier, but I think you can get the name as well.
All right, sure, no problem, Core. I'll think of something, and maybe I'll even let you have my brand.
Just have to start with 34, otherwise it's not on brand with my brand.
No, fair enough. I'll try and make some sort of like, what would be the best words? It's not portmanteau. I don't know. I'll try and make it mash.
Have you seen the Underworld Thrower?
Were you reaching for portmanteau?
Yes, I was, but unfortunately, like many words that I've seen and never has actually had to say, I can't pronounce it.
It's portmanteau.
Thank you very much. That was always my issue when I was doing classics, and I couldn't at all do any of the Greek pronunciation. Yes, Hellboy, the Underworld Thrower is the best Agi 3 thrower in the game, and that is a confirmed fact. And now you get to throw with the best Agi 3 thrower in the game to the best Agi 4 piece, that's Strength 2 in the game.
I do like the Wood Elf catches as well, I must admit.
Yeah, I think a pro elf catcher is a
I
fine thing at times too.
Yeah, Pro Elf is strength 3, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, it's just strength 2. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, then yes. Okay.
Yeah, gutter runner. That's
The
not
gutter
that
runner
many.
for me.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
catchers
take
and gutter runners.
The point of my ridiculous qualifications is that I'm making really, like...
It's hard not to be.
It's hard not to be wrong.
Of the
Like
4 availabilities,
It's like if I've said Snotlings are the best Strength 1 player in the game. Well, it's technically true, isn't it?
look, and before you leap to your judgments, are you discounting the halfling catcher, who is also strength 2.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
but that's not
yes.
84.
can
because
do something the gutter cannot do, which is can be thrown.
yeah, but it's 84. You missed that part of his statement as well.
Okay, no, he is ruled out. Okay.
It's probably also it's definitely the best movement 84.
Yeah,
strength.
precisely. It's the best movement 9 piece in the game. There
Okay,
you go.
if I'm Spartako
Ultimately, we
now,
get to the point, as I say, that
so we can talk about the problem with the leader.
Is the favourite of most numbers.
I think we have a good example on why I don't particularly like having to have a leader. That runner is now standing in the only spot where Spartako by any that's the only good place to actually freaking blitz is through that leader. Oh, he survives, but that's
Just everyone should stop using leader on weak players, particularly.
it's Kislev catcher. Ooh, that is the Kislev catcher. That's 84 strings too.
Ooh, yeah, no, that can do leapy things.
Yeah, I do actually. I really hate the actually Kislev catcher. Man, that's more from playing against it point of view. It's really fucking annoying player.
For me,
Certainly
the Kislev catcher will just roll the 1 on the leap every single time, and you're like, but this is the most reliable thing that my team can do, and then you cry.
Well, it is all they can do because they sure as hell don't have anything else. They can't dodge. They can't.
No, but they can catch on the 2
can't
faster than 1
hit
tackle zone.
things. Yes, they can.
They've got
Yeah,
Ghetto Nerves of Steel.
You can win games by luring your opponent into try to pass and then fumbles, and then you dive and catch it from the end zone.
In NAF, I did have a fun experience at a tournament where, for game 4, I came up against Slan as was being played, and he hadn't played that much, but cockily came onto the pitch with his Slan build, and then smiled at me and announced that he had a catcher with guard, and chortled, and that was clearly how he'd won 3 games. There was a beautiful moment on his face when he realised that my block runner in the middle of a traditional cage with guard on each corner, which he hadn't bothered to stop me forming because he just figured he'd leap in and wrestle me down, meant that that didn't work. It was going to be 2 die against in any direction, and he visibly deflated.
Oh, that's a learning. Let's call that a learning experience.
And you could see him frantically trying to come up with another plan over the next 14 turns, and not manage to.
Yay! Wood Elf failing. Wood Elf get fucked. But otherwise, just lovely caging zone. Got a lovely cage and got some siding stuff off as well to make it a bit awkward.
It's a full-on recovery at this point, isn't it? So now it's about either stopping the drive or finding a way in. The blitz is defended, and unfortunately it hasn't really changed a lot of the maths.
Yeah, it is. But actually, I did see Rick on one of his streams playing against the newish orc coach, where he got him to try like a long bomb from around the end zone, where he then fumbles the ball, and Rick wins the game by catching the scatter on his diving catch player in the end zone. I'm not sure that was slightly brilliant.
Yeah, in a league, I had a Kislev game where someone, on a last-ditch effort to stop me scoring on their turn 16, threw a bomb at me. And obviously, I just caught the bomb, and then threw it back at him, and then still won the game, all the same.
I've seen a nice use to the diving catch to shorten the need for a throw by a square, by throwing it accurately next to the catcher.
Yeah. Yeah, again, diving catch has its uses, but it's like Nerves of Steel, like the skill you will rarely take. but when it's there, it's at times useful.
Well, hence I'm slightly less negative about chameleon skinks on a NAF build. I can see where one of those might be occasionally a surprising problem.
Oh, have you found it? I think somebody potentially have found the scattering orb. It was pretty hilarious. Yeah, it's pouring rain. Yeah, I think it is. I did feel a bit bad for the guy though.
I actually learnt this game back 2 years ago in last year university by just playing Kislev and Underworld relentlessly in CCL. I played another race, which is those two, and while my Underworld record's now gone up to like a good 51.1% after clawing itself up from about 30, my Kislev record has remained about 32 after 120 set games.
That is a hilarious touchdown.
Yeah.
And, I absolutely. Rick had every right to go completely mental on that. That was fantastic. Oh,
Yeah,
what a joyful clip.
Yeah, and it's also
Thank you very
it's hard not
much.
to feel a little bit bad for the
Sambo
other
Simon.
coach, which was pretty new if I remember right. Okay, so he's spaced the ball, so Spartako is down by a point now.
Oh, he's lost. Spartako's lost. The ball is based.
And the leader's free. I will imagine Spartako is...
He's gone. He's not there.
He's not gone. No, that's the way to win.
Somewhere else with about 6 L's.
Yeah, I was thinking you're probably blitzing the witch elf. The problem is, again, now Frenzy's not particularly useful. A tackle Wardens had been a lot better, just blitzing the witch elf and running up.
Now, in the same way that there are no dice, I've always said that Frenzy is a mega trait.
But you could...
I'm honestly not a massive fan of Frenzy. A lot of people love to have Frenzy pieces, but I never find the time for them. And I say this as someone who's played a lot of Khorne.
Well, then you've suffered. You've earned your stripes at saying what a terrible, terrible negative skill Frenzy can sometimes be.
I think actually, if anything, Spartako need to watch out not ending up scoring too early.
Yeah, he
He's
usually doesn't mind. He backs himself to score again.
Yeah, okay.
If he doesn't score, that's a massive sign of respect for his opponent, because usually he's quite happy to end up with a...
Yeah, but he knows Negolai. I'm pretty sure... What is his... Okay. So now he's just dodging, and now needs to reroll. So that's two rerolls gone in 3 turns.
Yeah.
And if he had tackle instead of frenzy...
Yes, this could all have been a lot easier.
Again, frenzy is fun, but not particularly always the most practical skill. Makes you get some small puzzles for yourself.
Yes, and I do think against, particularly if you're playing a lot of not particularly good opposition, I think Frenzy can be devastating.
Yeah, that's the thing. Frenzy is probably better against people that's not good, but those games you should win even if you don't have Frenzy.
Yeah. And I mean, also, it is the psychological tool even against better coaches. It will limit what they consider and how they take risks will change because it exists. So I do see some value in it, of course. And of course, when you can get it working and working well, it's brilliant. But it's... And I speak as someone who's, won a tournament, a NAF tournament, using Roxy Zons. But still, it's a nega trait. It's easy to trap. It can pull players out of position. It can limit your position. But yeah, absolutely, Master Zen. It's about also about the impact you can have on their mindset, on what they consider possible, and on how they take risks, which can really, really change a game.
There's a league that I play in where I have a Juggernaut and Horns, Skaven, Underworld Blitzer with all the normal like stuff like Mighty Blow, Tackle, whatnot. And a bunch of people were asking me, why would you put Horns and Juggernaut on something that doesn't have Frenzy? Why don't you pick Frenzy? And they couldn't see or comprehend that the fact that I had that to not make sure my Blitzer didn't get trapped. So putting Frenzy would just make it so my Blitzer would get trapped on everything. And they were like, but that means you get more blocks. And they just couldn't. Either they didn't want to hear or they couldn't hear the fact that I was like, no, I do not want to have my in a progression place, my killer Blitzer twatted by some linemen randomly because he got trapped on something, dying, and then boom, my season is set back by quite a few games.
Yeah.
I must admit, if one of the things actually again also sees skills like Juggernaut is growing a lot on me. It's just the thing of not getting caught into bad situation. I have my Wardens on my current CCL team has taken Mighty Blow and first double and Jogs on second. Because of course I rolled 2.
Which is right. If you had taken piling on, I would have had to hit you a bit of newspaper.
I could have done it for the memes. But no.
I mean, I've said before, I don't think any elf has any business piling on.
And CCL, you'll see them.
I'm sure you will, because people here are still, Stockholm syndrome about piling on.
And it's the Witch Elf. I had a lot of fun with my Jogs Witch Elf as well.
I even think if you're gonna develop a piling on dwarf, it has to be then jumping up, if at all possible. That has to be its double progression, because you're giving up so much positional control having such an aggressive piece on the ground.
Just want to see
I think piling on is fantastic. Obviously, it does the brilliant maths with a claw, at which point it probably is worth sacrificing the positioning of having guys up. There are plenty of times I've faced a 3 piling on claw team, and all 3 pile on with their claw, get 1 removal perhaps at the 3, and then the next turn positionally they're really out of the game already before you've even done anything, because there just aren't enough pieces up to stop you going wherever you want. So I still think it needs to be used more with precision than it often is. But yeah, still playing the CRP rules here, and everyone will until there's another way to play Blood Bowl through Steam. Obviously, people are still responding to that, and one of the responses is an arms race to get this. You want a single killer on every single race, because it seems that's what is so devastating on other teams.
Well, also Marsden, the fact that the Underworld Blitzer is now just a 0-1 positional, I'm very much considering when I get to finally get let out for lockdown and get to play in a tournament in London at some point, in taking something like a Horns Blitzer rather than Mighty Blow or Guard or Tackle as the traditional. Wisdom is just because.
Well, again,
yeah.
Sorry, you go.
No, you yourself. I'm pretty much finished my point.
I was about to say you can tackle Horns. What's the problem? You're bold. To just give it tackle and Horns.
Can't you give it 2?
Well, most London tournaments, as you may know, PC do just the one non-stacked one. So you can only usually have 1 skill. But if there was like a tournament that did do stacking, then Horns or Tackle.
Underworld are usually so far down that sometimes by then you can stack a skill or 2.
Like
single
even
skills
in
London definitely. I haven't seen us do anything much more complex. Then it's a very tough call. I mean, people do love having something reliably hitty, but on NAF builds, if you're pulling Glartin, then you're probably going to use that as your claw and do a lot of hitting with it. So perhaps you're right, something that gives mobility and reliability and stops it getting tied down.
Yeah, I mean, like if I had a Glart, I would just get a Mighty Blow Blitzer because now I have a Mighty Blow piece that's reliable. But if I was doing something like Triple Gutter Runner, then Horns, and if I can get a stack, then a Tackle or a Juggernaut would be how I'd go.
Yeah. Talking
I
about
can
it,
see Horns getting a lot of use.
you can play Underworld in our Blood Bowl 2 tournament.
I can, yeah, and they'll have actually all 2 Blitzers and no Gut Runner.
And you got 40 star player points to,
Ooh-wee.
and you can
I
start.
actually have a moral dilemma currently because I'm, if I decide to finish it, I'm in the middle of my 3rd box trophy run on Fumble, and one of my teams is Underworld.
Right,
And
okay.
so it currently has 2 Vermin, 2 Linemen, and 2 Throwers. To which, of course, I can now add 1 more Lineman and a Gutter Runner.
Oh, God.
Because I'm officially grandfathered. Which is quite tempting. Particularly...
Oh no.
You absolutely should do that. And the thing is, because I usually start my builds at like TV 800 and then just, even in box, hope to get a good Ogre game in the first game, get some SPP like that, and then hopefully balloon up. If I had a team in box trophy, I would have played the 1 Ogre game, then waited, then got the new team so I could go back up to TV 1000 roughly, so I can actually face proper teams, and then boom, Bob's your uncle. You've got the souped up competitive roster.
Yes, the 7 Ogre roster. With Disposable. I do think Disposable gives them half a chance, which was needed, so I think that's a nice boost.
I agree, but I hate ogres. I despise them. Not because they're bad. It's because every so often...
Coaching for the very, very first time on that Black Box Trophy run. I've fiddled around with Underworld a couple of times before, but only, for a game or 2 here or there. This is my very first time playing with ogres. And I hate them just as much as I thought I would.
I had that feeling when in my box trophy run, I had goblins. In fact, I played you as my goblins at one point with that team. And you had dwarves, obviously, and you kicked the ever-living shit out of me. It was not...
Oh, yeah, I would have done that, yeah.
Well, to be honest, I kept stunning you, so it was a lot closer than anything. But it was pretty brutal. And
goblins can turn dwarves over, and I've done it. I've done it on BB2.
I think I did turn you over, but I just couldn't get it all wrapped up.
The dwarves at any moment can suddenly take complete control of the game.
Yeah. And then at that point, my goblins were like 2-something, 8. It was horrible.
Right.
And they managed to come back really well. And we actually played 2 games against a small man and his Chaos Pact.
Right.
First game we won. Second game we almost won, but then the goblin Arrested Development got thrown into the crowd and kneeled himself, denying me the win. So managed to figure out them finally.
Yeah, I mean, it's goblins. I love coaching. I think I still have the goblin lead on the Black Box Trophy, which I got through a mixture of all sorts of goblin shenanigans, going extremely well. But they are incredibly fun and challenging and ridiculous and silly.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
And
they were
hella addictive.
They at a point when they started doing well and winning again, and we had some real star players. They were legitimately fun. I was no longer being miserable when I was playing them. I was actually having a lot of fun. In part because we had a super adept goblin, and we also had a strength sidestep wrestle goblin, which was...
in my 25-game run, I never had a troll worth the name. None of them went flop at all, and I never had a goblin with a double or agility plus until, I think, 3 games before the end, I had an agility plus. He died the next game, and then I got another one, and he, I think, died 2 games later. So I had, say, 3 games with a good goblin.
What a shame.
Agility plus goblin are just gold, and they're beautiful things.
They're amazing. They truly are. They just win the game.
Yeah.
And everyone gets really mad when...
Plus Pogo is just beautiful, but I tend not to run with a Pogo.
Yeah, I mean, that was the big issue I found. I had pretty much all the positionals, starting out apart from the Hooligan. And
yeah.
yeah, the bomber was a complete liability. The Doom Diver didn't do anything whatsoever.
How dare you? The Doom Diver is the finest goblin that ever lived.
He didn't do anything. He'd come on in the second half and just die, and it was useless, and it made me miserable.
What's he doing on the pitch? He just one turns. That's all he does.
Well, that's the thing. He would fail the one turn, and then I'd had so many players lost because I went all positionals, including secret weapons, and then
Yeah, that's not good.
it's not good at all. And I kept having normal goblins die to the point that I had no treasury, so I couldn't
So then the
get
Doom
any
Diver's
cushion.
on the pitch.
Yeah,
he's
all the
he's a
time.
complete liability on the pitch. You don't want him there. He should appear in a short turn 8 only, ideally. Where he's down 3 behind the line, someone hands in the ball, he runs 3 ahead of the line, a troll picks him up and throws him, and you have a touchdown.
Very true, but
he moves once without any threat. All he's got to do is land once. That should be his only problem ever.
he never managed to catch the ball, or the ball was like was too far away for a goblin to get to him. The
wonderful thing about him standing 3 back is that you should, if you've got enough goblins, be able to have a really good net out behind the line to get the ball to him.
Yeah, it's easier to give him the ball as well.
Back from it. So it does help with getting him the ball. But I mean, your mileage may vary. But I mean, I scored with him left, right, and centre. He's absolutely beautiful.
Also,
but I think you've got to, with goblins, limit your choice of toys. I roll without a bomber, which it means you're really short against something like dwarves or orcs, but then you're probably going to be anyway. Because whilst bomber is the best answer to them, it's still terrible in everything it does. It's probably the best of your cheap rents if you really need one.
I was just hoping to get the Hail Mary pass. I'm like, I'm going to have so much fun with all these toys.
Artillery from the back line. I mean, that is fun, and the variance is really high, but it can work well. But as I said, really the best use for a bomber is to rent bomber dribble snot if you really want a bomber, because he's affordably cheap, and he's quite good. Well, I mean, he's not. He's bloody terrible.
No, bomber's great.
At least he comes with bonuses that a normal bomber just doesn't.
Yeah, true. Very true.
And then at the end of the game, the extra advantage is you then don't have a bomber on your roster, which is a good thing, because they're terrible.
True. And bomber dribble snot is cheaper than a Merc Goblin in case you wanted to put him on the line for whatever reason.
So I run with Saw, Doom Diver, and Ball and Chain. So I don't have a Pogo, I don't have a bomber, I don't have an Hooligan.
Both down. Take the both down. Free the
tree.
Free the tree. And he kills the Dark Elf.
Aye, wee.
But the Dark Elf did kill a Wood Elf on the line. So it's 9 Wood Elf defending now, and Triple still got 4 turns to score back in. So apparently Spartako is not respecting Tripleskull either.
No, well, as I said, he usually just doesn't give a damn. He thinks he'll get the ball off them or stop them. And really often he manages to.
Yeah.
I mean, in a recent weekender on Fumble, which was 3 games a day, he was in both the European and American zones, so he played 6 a day.
Yeah.
Was Wood Elves in each. He topped one of them. I think he topped the Americas one.
Congratulations.
With 6-0-0. And in the European one, he was something like 3rd.
Yeah.
Considering how many games this Sparko can play on Blood Bowl 2 in a given season, this man must really, 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 really love his Blood Bowl.
How much does he still play a ton? I was about to say, almost never run into it.
Apparently, yeah. Well, I mean, there were beginning of lockdown. He was playing a ton. He was playing a ridiculous amount. He might slow down now just because I don't know. Maybe he's not a big fan of CCL. Blah blah blah. I don't know. I have no idea or insight into the man's psyche. But I know for a fact for about 2-3 months he was just cranking out 80-game teams. None of them would qualify, but they
he's still
good runs.
So he's been playing over 200 games this season. He played 110 last season, about 200 before.
It's a
And
big
so-
old stretch to get where I think the ball's trying to go.
Yeah, and
Oh no, it isn't. It's holding up
no,
around
he's
that.
just
Well,
he's going. He's preparing the next turn, I think.
yeah.
He's trying to stretch the Wood Elves. Yeah, up often play a morning game in the UK time zones. I played Spartako twice.
He plays from Russia, doesn't he? Isn't he, in fact, Russian?
I thought he was Italian.
He's Italian.
Oh, he's Italian. Okay.
He's definitely Italian. He played tabletop.
So
as well.
mainland Euro times. Okay.
Yeah. I'd say Little Italiawood is the team called as well. By the way. I'm just saying, hashtag just saying.
Oh no, I think I was confusing my nations with Isn't Kolian XXXXXXX?
Yes.
He's Russian, yeah.
He's,
Russian,
he's
yeah.
definitely be Russian. And if, yeah, there's a couple of Russians. We got a
You see, I mean, I think for the.
got a prolific Russian CCL coach as well that plays a bit.
There's a common mix-up that people have between two coaches, which is Spartako and another coach called Spartacus.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think he is also Italian or something like that.
Yeah. We also and all the DM Law, DM Met, and that's a whole army of DOs.
There's only one purple chest. I would suggest there's very, very few people out there chugging man milk.
Very few, in fact, very few. Or maybe there'll be a lilac nipple or something in the next CCL. Maybe there'll be something like that.
Carr has to be confident of not being copied because nobody outside of Denmark can seem to actually pronounce the syllables that form what he calls a name.
Yeah.
I hear car, I hear core, I hear all
Core
sorts.
is fine. It's the last name that's the problem. The Pole. That's aggressive.
I was just about to say, this is very, very aggressive. We've seen the Dark Elves thinking, I'm in a great place here. I've got a lovely stretched cage, a Venga bus, I despise to call it, but there we are.
Are you taking to 2 dice again?
And Spartako doesn't care. He'll come in anyway.
But if that fails, it's Dark Elves at 1-1 by halftime.
Yeah, so he's done absolutely nothing about where the Dark Elves are positionally. He's got to abort this blitz and instead try and reposition, doesn't he?
Didn't. And
No,
with double
he
skulls.
went for it anyway. They threw the ball away, but the skulls came. Brilliant. Oh, comedy gold. So as we said, dump off really working its beautiful effects there.
Well, to be fair, it was not a bad dump off. Besides the catcher being standing just there. Able
Even
to
a
pick it up.
push, and even a push, and that there is an elf to scoop it away. There is that one catcher, but
And
yes.
now that catcher is gone, and the Dark Elf is caging. No, the thing if this the problem with this is he could have moved all his players, and if the play works, then he's still fucked. If you're going to go for the sack, if you are going this direction, you might as well do it straight up and say it's all or nothing. Because even if you go halfway in on the sack, it's still all or nothing. It's still nothing if you do it. Then you can do it and you might not even score.
I think the Dark Elf screen was in such a good position that it was hard to see him getting back the right side of it to hold him up anyway. So I guess he had to go for it.
Yeah, you could argue if anything he could have moved some of like the catcher over and started doing a screen behind the Dark Elf even, if he really wanted, so he was at least closer to the game. But he cannot roll back. He cannot run any of them back because if it works, then he needs them forward to secure the ball. But it was pretty aggressive. But I guess against the runner, it's Because it literally he can use anything but skulls. Then the -2D
Yeah.
is like, again, 70% to work to actually free up the ball. Frenzy.
Yeah, just get it moving around, and then everything else works. So it was anything except a skull. There was a really good result, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the skull is it's 3
And
in
as we
10
saw,
to roll the skull.
Yeah,
even the dump off did leave the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
So it was only the skull that came up.
The
But
irony
now
of
he is
that.
re-roll free against Dark Elves with a ball, 3 re-rolls, who are surely just going to stall this out for a lovely 1-1.
Strip ball is I will imagine strip ball is next turn getting back into the middle, and then in turn 8 is trying again.
Yes.
Where can I? Where's you box?
But of course, whilst the Darkies are down a death, and the Wood Elves also have lost a player, they've also got 1 KO'd, and stalling till turn 8 is definitely a good idea. Because Wood Elves can certainly in 2 do whatever they want. It's one of the things I do worry about with Dark Elves is you just don't have enough elves. If you lose 1 or even 2 elves, you're really starting to get short. You certainly can't ever foul anything. And War
You
Dancers
can.
need kicking in the face.
You can you can foul one. That's just
Yeah,
about
okay,
one
you can
position.
probably drop to 10 and it's still, that's still not a huge problem.
War
So
Dancers
you can foul once. War Dancers do need kicking in the face.
War Dancers is one of the few pieces I will foul with Dark Elves. Especially a strip ball War Dancer. The Frenzy one I will leave. The Frenzy one is annoying, but it's not a game-losing piece.
Yeah, the strip ball, particularly if you're carrying, well, I mean, anywhere you're carrying, but carrying on a blockless particularly, it's a ruination.
Yep. I can see his strip ball is getting ready. The catcher is getting ready downfield. Oh, you say not even. Oh, Jesus, he's aggressive.
It's not even waiting. Well, I've got a
Blocks
spare
with
War Dancer. It can have a go this time. Why not?
exactly, Hardy. That's whatever guy you have. War Dancer on the floor.
I mean, shouldn't it have been screening the strip ball War Dancer, preventing what now looks a reasonably easy chance to take that one out?
I'll definitely happily hit it with tackle now. You might as well move the Arcade Cage over to the middle of the field anyway. Oh, I have no clue. I was about to say.
There's also a very simple surf, but does he just ignore the surf to hit the War Dancer?
Yeah, I mean, it is a simple serve, but it does require resources allocated to it that I think are probably better used elsewhere.
It probably
Precisely,
does.
yeah. But a catch that's out is a catch that's out, you never know.
Yeah. He tried to save the catch the last turn. And got absolutely denied.
It's interesting that he, has chosen to prioritize the front left corner of this cage as we look from behind the Dark Elves, if you still are. And leave a back door open, which, I mean, yes, it's fairly easy to see how he's going to close it, but it's still a tiny risk. Tiny risk.
Yeah. Yeah, the block witch elf could have been standing there. And because the Winkerbus is out the way now, he'll need to move some more players to make sure it's not just the one dice. One is in. Does he actually have enough players to he can make it fully cage? It's a go for it, but yeah, he can make a 8-man cage. And then he can laugh at Spartako's leaping thing.
Well, of course, that's still very easily 2 red dice, isn't it? But it's not.
It's not, because there's a lineman coming in now.
Is he going to fully block that too?
Yes, of course he is. If you're doing the first, if you're doing the first full tank, you might as well. And Spartako could have avoided this if he hadn't just went straight in with the war dancer.
Well, he'll just think he'll win the second half. I'm not saying he will, but he'll keep coming.
They do absolutely fine. That's what I'm normally play with. You just need to eat a lot of, if you, both of them. Both of them do just fine. You just need to eat some bad rolls at times. There's no luxury re-rolls. You just need to eat, like, if it's not important and the ball is safe, you just need to eat double skulls and stuff like that.
At this point, is it worth surfing the lineman?
Can you do anything else?
Not that's positive. I mean, you can get some ball contact, but I don't see how it's going to help.
I think you serve, but you kind of also need, if you go for the serve, you also need to make sure you actually is not just getting counter serve, but something good. So he's going for, I'm not sure what he's going for.
Yeah,
okay. It red dice. Yeah, okay.
He can push it out onto an
This
elf. That was,
lineman and get a 1 dice.
and there was no way he could stop the next one being 2 reds. Surely he throws the apothecary on that.
No. It doesn't have an apple. He had an extra reroll instead.
Oh, okay.
It's a 3-man build, so he is
Yeah, 3-man build, so that's how he got the rerolls.
so 2 reroll 1.
Which again is I should have known, shouldn't I? Because again, it's the aggressive option.
Yeah, it could have worked, but it was what's
Well, you can make this 3 die. So this is fine.
so it's 1 die needing actually needing push because anything else. And then red dice needing push or anything else is fine on that one. And then it's a 1 dice. To be under 10% for it to work, and then that's not even taking account that Tripleskull has 3+2+ to just dump it off back into the mix. Oh, he makes it on the second. He couldn't. Why didn't he make? Couldn't he make it at 3? Oh. Maybe he couldn't get around that lineman for the 3rd dice.
Yeah, maybe not.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not without. Yeah, couldn't you? I didn't actually count it. I just expected both both elves stays out.
Yeah, so the wood elves are looking really, really short now. 1 tree, 7 elves.
Let's call it the luck of the draw during as well. It's a pretty big tournament for the amount of teams and only 5 rounds. And it's Blood Bowl. Everything can happen.
Oh, and particularly with wood elves, if there's 3 of them, there's still at least 2 too many,
Yeah.
and arguably 3.
Let's put it away. I'd rather be Tripleskull right now than Spartako.
Yes, and yet, as I say, I've seen him in so many times get himself out of holes like this. Perhaps not always against coaches of the quality of Tripleskull, but I still believe he has the ability to find that way at times. But yeah, definitely I'd rather be in the Dark Elf position. Of course, it's 1-1 and they're getting the ball and they're men up.
Yeah, I think Degrees example. And then we also plenty of times where a terrible football team end up winning league 1 year where everybody else fails.
Also, well, like,
And
yeah.
splitting. That's part of
Yes.
Blood Bowl.
Known as less.
I would like to say for Duderino, though, all you need to do to have a great team is have 2 good players, and you and Jenks are absolutely fine players, so, you know, it's fair enough.
Somebody has to carry it.
Well, someone needs to carry Dim. I mean,
Did Dimitri...
after his drinking sessions, his 2 legs aren't going to cut it.
Yeah, I might occasionally play tipsy, but I'm not going full deal, Dimmy.
I can't. That's the thing. I understand why the drinking streams, like the proper drinking streams, are, you know, like the Space Cadet ones and all that. I understand why they exist, but I cannot imagine they're any fun. I hate being drunk with a passion.
I'm fine being happily a little bit tipsy. It makes it more enjoyable at times.
I think as long as I stuck to whiskey, and ideally whiskey and cola, with occasional whiskey and lemonade, so that it's not just full caffeine loading as well. I think I could probably push out 10 hours, but 24 drinking and playing Blood Bowl, I think that would break a sane man.
Hakram, I won Garden Bowl before even started to play Blood Bowl. I actually only, that's a brilliant year. I played the last game against Trolls, and we were 2nd and 3rd in the beer drinking competition at the same time, and playing to win the tournament. And that state was brilliant. Do you agree?
I mean, that would be fun if you were somewhere with lots of other good-natured people who were also drinking.
Yeah,
I could see that being genuinely fun.
Yeah, it's that was a Danish tournament. Is normally in a garden where there's a barbecue and people generally having way too much to drink, but it's just part of the setup. Are you agreeing with Tripleskull moving his line elf away and just letting it bounce instead of catch and bounce?
No.
If you catch it,
having
it's
any
only
chance
2+.
of catching it, it's good.
Yeah, and it's 2+ for getting out. It's not worse odds than picking it up. I'm a little bit confused about that solution.
And it has presumably the same. I don't see it changing the odds of where it goes afterwards if it doesn't get caught. Yeah, I think that's a little strange.
Yeah, Martin,
because surely this is now a bigger problem.
You're normally first in the bar and also the last in the bar.
Because if that elf was still there, it could remove the tackle zone on it fairly simply.
Yeah.
I mean, it would mean putting another elf in next to the tree, but you'd hope to solve that next turn. You could.
I think he was too scared of the tree, to be honest.
Interesting.
Okay.
And because it's Wood Elf, you cannot even risk. Right, you need to do the 3+ pick up too. And the 2+ dodge.
You can't leave any ball on the floor against elves.
Yeah, and you cannot risk like scattering it either. So
And
you need...
particularly wood elves. They'll have it. They'll have your ball away before you can spit. Then they'll laugh at you and score and laugh again.
Yes. Actually, we will normally laugh on the way down to scoring.
Yeah, no, they're deeply evil, wood elves. It's just the world has yet to realise how secretly they've always been the evil that we fear in the night.
Well, I mean, wood elves in the actual fluff eat people. They eat people, so they are pretty evil.
But he gets the ball, no problem. And now he has the dodge skill to get away.
Of course, the dark elves are elves too, so it's quite easy to hate both of these sides.
The only elves that you should love are pro elves who have done nothing
Yeah,
wrong.
high elves.
I absolutely do. I love high elves too, who everyone hates, and that's why I love them.
Yeah, we love high
They're
elves.
the Ivan Lendl of the elf world.
They're the bloody Jacob Rees-Mogg of the elf world.
Oh, that's very harsh. I wouldn't say that about some people I strongly dislike.
But a bunch of my mates from university were at university with Jacob Rees-Mogg's son.
Wow.
I shudder to think of the new
I
generation.
would imagine the family is sort of cult-like, that it passes on.
Yeah, but you know, that kid did the same thing as any normal university student, which is go to the decadent Oxford summer balls and engage in their open air drug and sex tents. You know.
Yes, but with much lower risk, because if anything had gone wrong, Daddy could solve.
Precisely.
The thing with Rees-Mogg, even if you like his politics, and you shouldn't, because the man is hateful.
Yes.
But even if you do, he's a caricature. And he's chosen to be a caricature of something we all think of as evil, which is the sort of Victorian gangmaster, slave factory owner that abuses women and was ripping off the poor.
And having
So that's how he is deliberately chosen to present himself.
yeah, it's the man with the nanny to take care of the kids, because everybody should have that.
I mean, no one watches the film Oliver and goes, "Ah, yes, the evil man saying no, you can't have any more work for me. That's the one to be." But that's what he's done. That's who he's modelled himself after.
And there are legitimately people of my generation who are in love with that. They're the same people who believe that we should throw leftists out of helicopters because Pinochet did it.
I despair the world sometimes.
Well, the sixth form I went to had a lot of people whose dads were like the BNP mayoral candidate or went out for UKIP and everything during the 2015 elections. It was a real place of privilege. Oh, look, he's done a leap.
Here he comes.
Again.
I told you he wasn't going to stop coming. And throws in his very limited re-rolls on it.
Oh, we'll see a dump off, I'm sure.
And this time it works.
Well, this time it was a 1 die, so I think that's a respectable attack, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think you'd have gone for that as well, wouldn't you, Cole?
Yeah, I think it's alright here. The problem is a little bit the recovery is a little bit sketchy. But just because he left out the easy one, I think it might be worth taking it.
Would you have tried to get some equity down there to make those catches harder on the back corners?
Rejoicing.
Or leave it to try and scoop up if the ball does come out?
Yeah, I'll probably have done those two of the 3 catches actually.
Yeah, and just leave one for ball fetching if it does come through. I mean, he had the speed, as he's just showing, you know, he has had the speed and the ability to get down there. I don't know what that catch was on, but obviously it's not accurate, so it would have been a 3+ to catch it. Making it a 4+ if there was one on there.
Yeah, thank you.
Shawnee Man 18 TV for the host.
The real Sean Man TV, not the fake one we're dealing with normally. But it's
It's like you, Court, just because the plan's failing doesn't mean you shouldn't absolutely follow it through.
no, I'm like again. You already contact with half your team, and you right now looking at losing anyway. So there's nothing really lost
Create a
by
lot
it.
of threat, get up in the face, and hope that something changes.
Yeah.
Of course, even against something as quick and as dodgy as Dark Elves, Wood Elves just have the speed and maneuverability to outpace them. So even if he does get away forwards from this, you'd back yourself to still be able to get somewhere up near him and keep interfering.
He's definitely true to his. It's a bit scary. Our cat has been sitting on the middle, in the kitchen floor in the middle, and looking at me for the last hour without moving.
It's trying to work out if it could digest you in pieces.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
If it was never fed again, could I eat? Could I eat master if it stops feeding me? I love cats. I am a cat person, but they hate us.
Good old wrestle dessel.
Yeah, but again, it's the problem of offensive wrestle, isn't it? Is that that's the witch down for next turn, whereas that dancer will be back up and back up near the ball, so the ball has to go.
Oh.
The plus side, of course, is it's created for the option for that ball to disappear.
It's our letters.
Is it just me, or is the Shawnee Man 18 TV host messages still up there? So
it is probably.
Yeah, we just have this running zombie all over the game.
It's better than the game, I guess.
Well, yeah, I can think back to that joke that I made about 5 seconds ago and go, what a joke that I made. That was the highlight of my life.
It's just letters. So it's most of them is the first letter of the skill, and then you've got the color coding from which type of skill it is. So the blue is general skills, green is agility skills, then we got the orange passing skills. And then we got some difference. We got frenzy, which is a little bit weird because it's a set. Some of them strip ball in 2 letters. So he's not handing off back to the runner. That's a bit interesting. And he's still standing. He's standing in straight up lead position. That's, is he going to foul that war dancer? Or is he going to...
How long are the term timers on this? It seems
3 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say they don't seem.
Yeah, it's
nice
funny.
Amount of time.
After you're playing CCL, it's funny how long 3 minutes feels like when you're getting used to 2 minute turns.
Yes, I can't say I love it, but it is what it is, isn't it?
What is Stone?
As long as everyone else is coping with it, then I've never. There's rules I like and rules I dislike, but as long as they're the same for everybody, it's they are what they are.
Yeah,
I think this is too short for some of the better Blood Bowl. It does mean some turns where there would be some really good options available if you could spend 45 seconds.
Is Stone? I cannot even remember. I played this morning. Is Dome 2 or 3 minute turns?
Dome is 2.
Dome is 2. Yeah, this is that's straight up just walking in and then 3+, and then there's you might even dodge up and you can even hit from the top.
There's a lot of ways in.
Yeah, but I like the angle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you put the lineman you cannot use for anything else in with the tackle. Up just on that one, but I like hitting the whistle from the square just under the blitzer, so you can push to the straight down square.
Yeah.
And I don't know about putting up the leader. catcher, it could be useful. He might go for the, yeah, you probably go for the dodge instead, actually, being a 4+.
Yeah,
With
I was going to
Triple
say dodging in.
Yeah.
If you've still got dodge after
getting,
dodging out,
yeah.
then surely going in on a 4+, that's a 1 in 4 fail, and it still leaves you the reroll when you get there.
Yeah, not really, but I don't, yeah, I don't understand the catch here though. But not the catch here.
Well, unless he's coming from the other angle, is he going to go through here and hit from the other side?
How is he going to?
Surely not.
Why are you? Okay, so he's good.
For the recovery angle, he wants to push it towards the tree.
But
He's going to get it loose.
but I will still,
Yeah.
I will still go
So
for
it's
it.
about
I still
pushing
don't.
it where he's put those elves around to
Yeah,
muddy the catching
it's,
and to make a recovery
it's the whole
possible.
leap thing because he could have done the dodge again, and he could have done the.
But instead, it's come out behind him where he perhaps didn't want it. That was the whole point of that plan, was to try and get
No,
it
that's
out
fine.
towards
It's 3+.
the zone beyond where the witch has gone to, because
I-
he felt he had elves he could get round there and
But he
mark
got elves. He
muffle
got
the
his
ball away.
catchers, and the catchers can come in and do the 2+ first and see if it gets. So you take one of your catchers from the backside, do the first 2+. If the 2+ works, you do the 3+, and then you can dodge out on handoff and score. And if one of them pops dodge on the first 2+, you just abandon and try the next one instead. They got the movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
6.
Follow me, everything is alright.
Oh, at least you think about it. If the first one pops dodge on one of the two pluses, you can try the second one. You can be greedy and hit with the 3 to make it only 1 2+. Or you can go conservative on us. But
I understand why. It also perhaps gives him somewhere to an out ball if he does get the ball up. He might be looking at trying to get it out that way.
No, you get it
Go
out
with
to the
go
guy
with the
that can
nearer
score.
catcher.
What? Oh.
Follow me, everything is alright.
Oh, cheers. Cheers to both of you. Yeah, that's a bit weird. Like, I can understand that, but if you get it, what? 1, 2, 3,
Yeah, where
4,
does it go?
5, 6, 7, 8. Then you pass into the other one. Or you can. Well, can you wait? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
It had the move to pull back out, but then perhaps pass directly over Geshkin to the one that hadn't moved.
I still think I'll go with the farther away and go for the handoff and score. But that's a lot of things. There was also the Wardlands are not going for the leap instead of just going for the 4+ dodge. I find slightly weird as well. And
Well, the only thing I could think about was that he liked the recovery angle once
but
which went where it was going.
The whole thing is PC. He could just have done 1 2+, another 2+, and again seen if the dodge was there. He could have dodged in to that angle anyway.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there was a diagonal angle through the two dark
so
elves.
there's 2+.
Yeah, that's where I thought he was at first going, but he chose to leap there instead, and I agree. The 3+ leap rather than a 2+ with dodge, and then the same, seemingly the dodge we liked. But perhaps he thought the 3+, if it worked, would get him there quicker with more moves afterwards. I don't know. I liked your route to that square better, and I liked your plan better as well. So, and yet Spartako has incredible results. He keeps coming. He keeps finding the idea.
Yeah, that's yes. Yeah. At least he makes it interesting.
Oh, his games are always fun, and they're mostly like this. Except games against people who aren't very good, where he just dominates them, takes their ball away, and scores 4 or 5. Is that just cover for a misfield?
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going anywhere. There's nowhere really to run.
I did think, is he going to stay exactly where he is? And
Yeah, I
do
think he
something
is.
about the elf on the ground.
He's going back to.
Yeah, he's just. Oh. He's
Ooh,
got
la,
the
la, la, la,
reroll.
la,
It
la,
has
la,
to
la,
go in.
la,
doesn't it?
oh, and a 6. I'm not sure I'm even going to bother with the lead. Oh, here comes the foul.
Yeah, I was going to say, here comes the foul. That thrower can't be left, can it?
Well, that's send off, which means we got a clear shot at the jump in instead.
Yep. All action.
All action. All aboard the action train. The question is how many
Solved
players
one problem, but at cost. So.
Still, yeah, he's probably more than fine with that exchange anyway.
I'm not sure either is going to be that unhappy about it.
So can
It
Spike
removed the
EurOpen
threat, but
game?
it created another one.
Can Spike EurOpen games go to overtime?
Nope.
Ah, okay. Then there's no kick equity to think about, and leader does, if I am right, affects kickoffs even when there's no reroll. I think that's what we like. I can't remember if during one of the Dome games we figured that out, or if that was just something that completely passed me by. All the same.
Yeah, leader counts for overtime if you have a leader reroll still, which is very, very unlikely if you play if you actually play with proper overtime. It's only in Dome where you skip the overtime.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's interesting because, of course, I fielded my leader on my Khemri team. I didn't field it in the first half.
Yeah.
And I did field it in the second half, hoping, obviously, that if I had to use a reroll, and I did, that one would be the one that was used first, in case it got taken off the pitch.
Yeah.
But surely if you'd never fielded it, if you still had 11
Nope.
and it was on the bench, would you get that reroll?
In my opinion, it definitely needs to be on the pitch when the game finishes.
I think so, because the ones on the pitch when the
Because
game finishes are the ones that take the penalties, aren't they?
Yeah, and I will almost argue because normally as soon as the last turn is gone, your reroll disappears because he leaves the pitch. You can even argue. That's why me and Dio potentially thought it was not counting, because you can.
Right.
The question is when the kickoff is actually taking place, the kicks.
What is it? An entire separate phase where players come up one at a time and hence are a team of one? Is that what we're theory bowling there?
Yeah, it's a good question, but we'll never in a normal NAF tournament see it. Because you will normally, when you played 8 turns of overtime, you bloody use that leader.
Yeah.
Even if you... Oh, thank you. Yeah, there's...
I can see if somebody cloned Dio and Dio faced Dio with, say, dwarves, that they might just all not move for 24 turns, each thinking it had some edge for kick equity. Therefore, why take any risk at all?
Spartako is doing Spartako
Here we go.
things.
Yep. I think you should call me Mystic PC. I told you he would keep coming, and I told you it usually works out. We're now only a very few dice away from him in 2-1.
He has also already rolled a shit ton of dice.
Yeah, he'll roll some more.
I would like to point out.
He's still got a reroll, so it's all going to be fine.
No, didn't he use a reroll early?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
I'd like to point out.
Here it goes.
What was that? That was 3 plus leap. It's 3 plus leap, and then it's a failed 2 plus.
I mean, it's genius. Some of it, as I said, doesn't look optimal. It doesn't look like it should work.
If you're
He's got
complaining
so
about,
few elves.
you were complaining my double power play. This is all in all not much better. This is a 3+ lead.
Welcome to Spartako. He's not going to change or stop because he doesn't need to. It works incredibly well. His hyper-offensive style.
So first of
I
all,
mean, I'm probably misreading him. He's probably a lovely, lovely person. But
he is.
when
He
I
is
say I think there's
actually.
a bit
He
of an
is
arrogance
actually.
to the whole,
He is actually
the
a
way
really.
he just
Oh, the cat has joined me on the table now. I think it's got annoyed
there
by
just
looking
doesn't
at.
seem to be an opponent he takes particularly seriously and thinks I need to control this. No, he just scores at will and keeps coming for you until he's got your ball.
Something I'd like to point out is that if the if the runner had dodge rather than leader, he wouldn't have gone down and got stunned in that turn, and it could have been a whole different thing.
Yes, but then the Dark Elves would have played even more conservatively, possibly, not feeling they had the rerolls. But the flip side of that is they've got 2 rerolls, and they haven't got a lead. So perhaps rerolls haven't helped them as much as you say as a dodge would have done.
Who needs rerolls? To play 0 reroll builds, all positionals from now on.
Well, now we can talk Old World Alliance, where that probably is the only viable solution. 70k rerolls that you can use on 3 or 4 people.
And you could, Underworld as well, you just give Catch the gut runner and boom. That's all you need.
Yeah, it's like when you get more Blood Bowl games where you're just trying to hunt down that one player who they're trying to keep from you and not do very much else with. Because that's thrilling Blood Bowl.
Yeah, that's just like mid-TV Chaos versus Chaos on TCL, where both players have the Claw Mighty Blow piling on Beastman, and both the coaches are like, I don't want my pieces to die, so I'll completely sacrifice my drive to hit that.
Yeah, that's why we all hate and love Wood Elves. Just as much as PC likes some halflings.
I mean, there are people that love Wood Elves, aren't they, that want to somehow forgive themselves for coaching this race. But it shouldn't, the rest of us shouldn't. We should never let them think that they are anything other than the scum of the earth.
So, but Spartako got a reroll more. Oh, back.
Luckers who enjoy God mode.
So I will guess we'll see him push again. This is.
Sometimes I think in the list of who's won NAF tournaments, there should be basically 2 lists. One list for people that have won them with Wood Elves, and then one list for everybody else.
It's a good thing I won most of mine with Dark Elves then.
At least that does require some coaching. I mean, Wood Elves obviously require some coaching, but they're another one of those teams that as long as you know roughly what you're doing with them, you should be able to get some reasonable results no matter who you are.
Yeah, I do remember playing.
Incredibly good at solving problems.
I do remember playing Wood Elf the first time. I think my description of it was like it was upgrading Dark Elf to something better, and Dark Elf is pretty damn good.
Well, I've always recommended I do teach some new coaches, and I don't think you should start with Wood Elves. I don't think I think in the hands of someone that doesn't know what they're doing, they break really easily. But I think if you know what you're doing with elves and then you come to Wood Elves, yes, they can be an absolute joy and revelation.
Someone in one of my leagues I play in, we tried to convince him that he should start with Pro Elves, and he'd quit Blood Bowl in about 3 games' time.
But it's funny enough. It's a bit the same like with the Wood Elf and Dark Elf. We're back again, like we talked about before. One of the reasons I play a lot of Amazons is because it makes it a lot easier playing Dark Elf. Because
yes, you bring some of that greater. I mean, with Amazons, you really do have to be in control of your risk order because it's a 3+ to get away very often.
So if you can make the horrible 83 movement 6 working,
Yeah.
then suddenly playing Dark Elf where you can move more and everything is on 2+ makes it a lot funnier. Yeah, and sometimes you just disappear. That also been clean pitched in an F game. I think it was last time was a Chaos Dwarf team whereby I think we didn't even get to second half where I was almost out of players.
But I'm really looking forward to the new TSD season because I'm not going to reveal what the choice is, but I've taken a choice that I think is going to guarantee fun in every game I play.
Yeah, I'm with you
Rather
there.
than something super competitive, I'm just going to have some lols and see what happens with a design I've always thought I would quite like to fancy trying, but have never found a time to, so this is the time.
Is it Death Roller Dwarves?
No.
I was hoping the pause there was me finding out your game immediately.
No, the pause there was my wife working out that I had a croissant as dinner. Having had a full Sunday lunch, she thought eating any dinner was obnoxious, but I had a croissant.
Not a croissant.
Apparently required her to publicly shame me.
Hey, Wolf.
Hey, Wolf.
It's not really important anyway, the Reno and Jinx. You can just wait till all the games are played and then it doesn't change anything. It's been interesting. Spartako has made it very interesting. What can I say? Spartako definitely makes me look like a boring Wood Elf coach.
Yeah, you're positively stayed in comparison.
I'm pretty damn boring.
And again, look, everything looks absolutely fine for the Dark Elves here, doesn't it? It's all going to be absolutely fine.
And then his Dark Elf drives, so even if he scores, you still got a potentially Wood Elf one turn. And the problem is that no way that Dark Elf you cannot play for the win anyway.
No, but I mean, do you really think he's still got plenty of elves and now 2 rerolls? He's coming for the ball again.
That is actually a good question. KURS feed enough. Boom, boom, boom. I actually don't know. I never looked into it. If you a good guy could if you on the NAF Discord try to ask San Mike, he might know. Are you on the NAF Discord? I think you are, aren't you? Yeah, you are.
Of course, there's a NAF Discord.
Of course.
I counted today, and I've now reached 17 Discords, which
I'm
it
20
officially is Discord spam to me now. I have Discord bloat.
I'm just muting everything besides the one I'm running. That's been one for a while, but with the upcoming, now we actually got Blood Bowl 2 on got an F approved tournament in Blood Bowl 2. We're going to revive an F Discord a bit.
Right. Distressingly, I'm considering having to have a filing system in Discord. So here we go. I think it's going to come this turn. I mean, why wait?
Of course. Of course he is.
So what do you think, Core? Have you been wrong in how you've been playing Wood Elves? Is there a more offensive level of Wood Elves you're yet to reach?
I will never get to this stage. I think it's... I think somewhere, potentially somewhere between me and Spartako, we got a proper... I think this is...
Somewhat aggressive?
Yeah. Yeah, the key is to mute 90% of all the Discord servers you're on. It's only a few of them that's actually important.
Yes, I'm going to have to create just a couple of dub files, aren't I, for all the ones that I just don't go on very often, and I can pop in there when I want to check them.
There is no cheering, and you've got 48 star player points you can distribute. You can max have 16 on a player, and you are allowed to do doubles if you do stacking on the second.
It's interesting.
It's different.
Yeah, it's different.
And I think the reason I picked Wells is actually because of no tiers and its skills being star player point based. I thought it would be easier if you had people that are not used to NAF.
Yeah.
It's because it's
And
more like you're used to.
Yes, and Wood Elves are one of the races that really does well with a low number of skills, because as we said right at the start, just actually once you've skilled the two dancers, everything else is a bonus.
Yeah and no. You will probably. He's getting. Oh, strip ball is stunned. The problem is, like, again, if you put tiers in, like, actually Skaven and Norse is pretty good here, because Skaven and Norse can use a lot of skills and they can use stacking well.
Right.
If you're tiering, then one of the two teams that Norse and Skaven is normally one of the two tier 1 teams that get trashed in the tiering, because they're too good to get tiered down, and they just get...
Yes. Yeah, I mean, they're one of those ones that hover at the bottom end of a tier usually, don't they?
Yeah, so you get jumped by
I'd
tier
put
2.
them in like a 7 tier, they get pushed down to the second tier.
Yeah.
Leaving just perhaps the undead, darkies, wood elves, and lizards perhaps as the very top tier, pushing the Skaven, dwarf.
Oh, you could go and you can also go 3 doubles, 3 stacking, if you really want to. I think a lot of team will do the 1 stacking and 5 normals.
Yeah.
You could go otherwise, figure so you could go 3 stacks as well if you wanted to.
Yes, of course, it has the maths for that, doesn't it?
I don't. What about if you wanted to
That
play
would translate
vampires?
quite nicely over onto a Chaos Dwarf team. You could either, of course, have you can't take a presumably doubles on
You
your
can.
stack.
You can, exactly. That's the only time you can take a double is on the stack.
So you could have a Claw Mighty Blow.
Yeah.
Backed up with 5 guards. Or 3 guards and a skull each on the bulls.
Yeah, or you could have a Claw Mighty Blow and break tackle block bulls.
Yes, and then 5 naked beards.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It's just it's quite different. You bulls really have to work.
Very different.
You have that one.
You have 1 killer, and I guess you're going to have to use your hobgoblins to get those assists in.
Yeah, it's at least different. Yeah, and the elf teams are going to look at either going tackle Mighty Blow or dodge guard if you want to stack.
I think I'd go Claw piling on Chaos Mino. That's what I would do.
I played it.
That's a nice stack.
You got a block. You got block Mighty Blow. Snow trolls on Norse.
Yeah. Yes, I had one of those chase my dwarves around a pitch once at the UKTC.
Too bad
evil thing.
Too bad there's no, it's Blood Bowl 2, so I can take a corn roster that actually might be pretty okay for once.
Yeah, it will still be corn without tearing though. So I guess there's one mission for Tripleskull is getting out of range for that strip ball now. He bloody better put that cage strip ball. It's not hitting. Yep. Is there any catch? Oh, there's too many catches left. But that's a lot of options. You could also just go Amazons with 8 normal skills. That's fine. You go 4, just do 4 guard, 2 block, 2 wrestle. Have fun. 8 block dodge play. Players where 4 of them as guard. And I will, knowing how Spartako plays, I guess you're blitzing the wrestle piece. Because otherwise wrestle is coming in.
I think, yeah, wrestle will try and come in any way it can.
So you're blitzing wrestle. It's chalked as always on.
My nets are seemingly a little broken at the moment. I don't know if I'm coming over clear.
You're coming fine. It's mainly the white noise from
Oh, right. Is
Chucky
it...
being on all the time.
Yeah, right. Fair. I still need to figure out how to, like, down, I guess,
The
my mic sensitivity. Yeah.
I'm not. Oh, I don't know about this, by the way.
Well, he's locked the back door on the cage, which is
But
good.
but he just.
There's no need for kick equity, is there? So he can throw
No,
rerolls
but
in.
the wrestle can reach the front door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you made it so you can chain push the ball to a potentially better square. Instead of just freaking blitzing that stupid wrestle, please, and take it out of the equation. I'm not sure about that. It's a bit of it's uphill, but since it's Spartako, he's going to try it anyway. Yeah, this is not a full cage. 7, 8, 9. To wrestle, just have enough movement. Yeah, there's no reroll, and I'm not saying it's great, and he, for once, actually decides to pack it in and just keep as many players as possible for the ones which I don't hate either. But I do think I would still have hit the wrestle just to take the possibility out of it. Yeah, now you're just wasting time. He's not fouling your wall dancers anyway. Yeah, this is one of the times I miss tabletop where you just look at each other and agree it's a waste of time moving anybody. Yeah, it's very important the tree get to safety. Like, seriously, like, if you've been tabletop here, Spartako just told, Tripleskull just told him, I'm not rolling any dice.
Yeah.
And then you score instead of spending the time actually running away.
Well, particularly what you should be spending the time on is worrying about and setting up for the one-turn nonsense.
Yeah, but he fails to do KOs again. His KO shock has been pretty shit.
Those have been terrible.
But this is where we see the unforlorning of the grab tree.
It better bloody work.
Well, it's surely the reason it is here.
It's bloody better be worth the money now.
Now or never.
What is Tripleskull going? It's also a bit shitty having to 120 defense with 9 elves. It's never going to be really good having to. He did grab a player earlier, I think. But it's not.
Well, yes. I mean, if it hits something, it automatically grabs it. But was it of use? Did it actually serve any
But
end
it was
whatsoever.
more funny is he's basically not being able to hit anybody at most games.
No. Well, I mean, you don't roll with a tree for dealing with elves, do you?
No, I bloody don't hope so. Then somebody needs to have a talk with that person. This game seems it's been taking forever, by the way.
Last 3-minute turns where both coaches usually take about 2 minutes per turn.
Well, again, like anyone who's played any amount of tabletop, I've sat for 15 minutes watching somebody try and remember how to set up for a 1-turn to then roll a perfect defense the minute they have, which is always fun.
You're right, it's useful if you get to block with the tree.
I have legitimately sat in a 4-hour tabletop game.
There is a
And it was
point.
it was 4
Really?
hours without any banter either.
Oh,
Oh,
Guy just
shit.
sort of like he kept looking at his pieces and like sighing and then moving one square over, and he was playing Chaos Pact as well, and it got to turn 8 of him doing that, and he had lost the ball, he wasn't going to score, and he just loudly announced, "If I'd removed your pieces, I would have won this."
yeah.
But I didn't.
Did you say, yeah, if my auntie had a cock, she'd be my uncle?
Well, no, then he removed all my pieces in the second half, and I lost.
Well, so he had a point.
He did have a
He
point.
was right. It was
He
a prophecy.
He was right. And then after I had 4 pieces left on the pitch, he still took 10 minutes a turn to sigh and move pieces back and forth.
And
Oh,
yet,
lovely.
it doesn't sound like this is a story of how you learned from this master,
No,
or what you've taken away. Indeed, you're treating him with contempt.
I learned that what I learned from this game was when faced with adversity, I should drink more.
You should
But
always
sometimes-
drink more.
Even if you win, you're still going to have lost.
I lost 4 hours of my life, and that was on a work
Exactly.
day, so I had to trundle all the way back home down south to Zone 6 on a 40-minute journey back, and then go to bed at midnight, get up at 6, and then...
God, so Bromley is actually connected to London in some way.
Yes, surprisingly.
You're
And it's
talking
not...
about it in Zone 6 as if it's sort of part of London rather than...
Well, yes. I mean, surprisingly, you don't have to get on a horse and carriage every time you want to go up to London. I know that's the impression, but...
No passport needed, no check.
No checks whatsoever. Yeah, they let you on a train, and you go up, and then vroom. An Oyster card as well.
But the funny thing with that grab skill is, I know the sidestep catcher is easier to remove, but it's actually more useful for the 1 turn.
I'd have said if you really want to lean into that, then a sidestep is useful all game and more useful to 1 turn, though it does limit it to the, a catcher is more easy to remove than a tree. I would argue the back is perhaps a thing, but I'm not sure skilled trees is the future.
Jump up. Jump up trees. Actually, movement 3 trees is the thing to go.
Well, I mean, surely if you want good trees, you play halflings. Timber has slightly changed the game.
Yeah, but timber has not arrived in this weird world we are playing in.
Of course not. Well, I mean, Blood Bowl 2 has its advantages, but to me, it's still retro gaming.
Correct, Paulie. Yep, I am from Bromley. Although, born in Lewisham, lived most of my life in the borough of Bromley.
Born in Lewisham?
Yes.
Oh, so I guess Bromley is a step up. Well done.
Wow. Yeah.
Ah.
And my parents were from... Well, one of my parents was from Bermondsey, the other one was from Brockley. So...
But I just need to track you. I mean, you visited North London.
No, I have never been to North London apart from...
Well, that explains why you're still in Bromley.
Cheeky kid. All the way.
Because you don't have to stay. It's not,
I would much if I was going to move anywhere, it would be to West London. I wouldn't move to North London. I'm sorry to say. I've only been to North London via a coach when I've been back and forth from Nottingham.
You've been bussed through North London.
Yes,
You weren't allowed out to look around or
I
stop
was not allowed.
or
No.
sample the rarefied air.
What? I don't.
Of course, North London is easy to get out of, Wolf. It's where we built all the roads from. A1 starts here, M1 starts here. If you want to get anywhere, you start from North London because that's also where you want to come to if you come to London.
And now he's. What? Give that bloody thing the ball.
I think this has been a little bit cocked up. But also, Purple Chest, would you consider Camden North London?
Of course.
Well, I've been to Camden.
He should. This is fine, but he shouldn't give him. That catcher should have had the ball.
Yes, the ball needed to get there, but the ball is a long way away, which is dispiriting.
Yeah, but that's why you start with the freaking getting.
But it's getting
the
even
ball.
further away now.
I know this, and you take the
And
Tripleskull.
there's no one to pump it to and hand off, so it has to get all that way.
That's why you take the 3+ cats in a tackle zone instead of this bullshit. This is.
I bet it works though.
Yeah.
Why not?
1, 2. Yep. That's deserved. I was about to say they deserved. I kind of mean it actually. Yeah.
Boom.
Boom. I don't. Yeah.
Well, it was a great 2-2.
It was. It was quite. It's.
I mean, I love watching Spartako play against Tripleskull, who's again a fantastic Blood Bowl player. You know, really from the very top drawer. He can play like that and still walk away with a 2-2. Don't think I could. It must require just iron self-belief.
He made 8 leap die, rolled 8 leap dice, and how many of them was fail, and 4 of them was fail. How many did you reroll of those? Oh my god!
So he was unlucky.
Yeah, that's yeah.